Avengers: Secret Wars will bring about the end of the Multiverse Saga and may include several fan-favorite heroes and villains from parallel universes. With the exciting announcement that Hugh Jackman will return as Wolverine in Deadpool 3, it appears the stakes couldn't get any higher in the Multiverse Saga. Though he is only asked to play one more time, the latest developments may influence Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars. With Secret Wars promising to explore the multiverse as no other project has before, many fans are expecting the film to include many alternate reality heroes when Earth's 616th Avengers are summoned to Battleworld. Some of these multiverse characters may even take the form of heroes that the audience is already familiar with. Sir Ian McKellen's Magneto is one of the greatest comic book villains of all time. The magnet-wielding leader of the Brotherhood of Mutants has become a fan-favorite character over the decades for his tragic backstory, genius schemes, and the true danger he poses to the members of the X-Men. With the indication that certain mutants could appear as early as Deadpool 3, fans are eager to see certain fan favorites return to the big screen one last time. Now that Patrick Stewart has returned in Multiverse of Madness and Hugh Jackman is set to reprise his role as Wolverine in Deadpool 3, Magneto remains the last of the three major mutants that has not yet appeared in the MCU, with Secret Wars beginning to feel like the last opportunity to amend this mistake. Jackman's Wolverine has been a fan-favorite part of Fox's X-Men franchise, with a tenure that lasted 17 years until his death in Logan. However, as the multiverse has shown so far in the MCU, even deceased characters can find a way to return for one final adventure. With news recently breaking that Jackman's Wolverine will indeed appear in Deadpool 3, the mutants' involvement in the upcoming Secret Wars film seems all the more likely. The beloved character may even be joined by his fellow X-Men, given that Earth's 616th mutant team will likely not yet be formed by the time Secret Wars releases. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is one of the most highly anticipated characters to be joining the MCU in the Multiverse Saga. After appearing in 2 films of his own, his third solo outing will release in September 2024 and will officially be considered MCU canon. Unlike other characters from parallel universes, Deadpool requires very little explanation to turn up in an Avengers crossover. The character's disposition toward breaking the fourth wall and ignoring lapses of logic means that he can show up in virtually any project without the audience posing too many questions. Though his involvement in Secret Wars may not fit with the film's darker theme, a quick cameo from the Merc with a Mouth would not be unwelcome for many MCU fans. Norman Osborn, also known as the Green Goblin, is one of Spider-Man's greatest villains of all time. First appearing in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, Willem Dafoe portrayed this iconic villain to perfection, reprising his role once more in Spider-Man: No Way Home and proving himself to be a threat in any universe. Although Norman was seemingly cured of his darker half at the end of No Way Home, different variants of his character have not had the same treatment. This would allow for any number of variations on Dafoe's Green Goblin to appear one last time in Secret Wars, following the 1984 comic book series storyline involving the world's greatest villains being transported to Battleworld to fight the world's greatest heroes. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness introduced audiences to the Illuminati of Earth 838, which was filled with exciting multiversal cameos. One introduction stood out among all the others, however, with John Krasinski becoming the latest actor to play Mr. Fantastic after years of fan speculation that he would appear in the role. While it remains unclear whether Krasinski will be the definitive Reed Richards moving forward following his character's death in Multiverse of Madness, this variant could still return in future projects regardless of who plays his Earth 616 counterpart. With Fantastic Four already in the works, the first family will likely be brought into the mix for Secret Wars, but fans would love to see the 838 version somehow featured despite his demise at Scarlet Witch's hands. Alfred Molina's Dr. Otto Octavius, otherwise known as Dr. Octopus, is one of the all-time classic supervillains in cinema. First appearing in Spider-Man 2, the villain left a lasting impression that would portend his return in Spider-Man: No Way Home alongside several other classic Spider-Man antagonists. Though the villains of No Way Home were cured by the end of the film, Dr. Octopus remained the sole member of the group to retain his superpowers, given that they were attained technologically rather than physiologically. As such, he could still return in future projects, though his alignment therein would remain up for debate. Morbius introduced audiences to Jared Leto's eponymous antihero, who has become a frequent topic of discussion for fans following the catastrophic box office failure of his first solo outing via Box Office Mojo. Nevertheless, the film's post-credits scene indicates that he may yet have a future in Sony's cinematic universe, though that future remains unclear. While Sony struggles to uphold its cinematic universe of Marvel characters, they will certainly take any opportunity to gain from the success of the MCU. If given the chance, the company would undoubtedly be thrilled to have their most recent anti-hero join the Avengers in what is sure to be the biggest MCU film yet. Doctor Doom is one of the most highly anticipated villains set to join the MCU within the next few years, with many wondering who might play the villainous dictator. As the most recognizable villain of the Fantastic Four, many suspect that he could be introduced in the team's upcoming reboot, if not even sooner. Doctor Doom is an incredibly important character in both the 1984 and 2015 Secret Wars stories in Marvel Comics. Given that the MCU seems primed to adapt the latter of these two renditions, it would be nearly impossible to do so without the presence of Doom. Nevertheless, it remains unclear how the villain will be introduced in the MCU, with some suggesting that introducing an alternate reality version might be the easiest way to explain his absence thus far in the franchise. Tony Stark's death in the finale of Avengers: Endgame remains one of the MCU's biggest tragedies, as fans were forced to say goodbye to the man who began the entire franchise over a decade earlier. While Earth's 616th Iron Man is undoubtedly dead, the multiverse opens up endless possibilities for Tony's return. While it is unclear whether Robert Downey Jr. would ever return for a future MCU project, especially one so soon after his character's demise, this doesn't mean that other actors couldn't try their hand at portraying the iconic superhero. In fact, many fans have speculated that Tom Cruise could portray an alternate reality Stark in an MCU project. No matter who plays the role, a Secret Wars event without Iron Man would feel rather incomplete.